All right, so I'm going to be going live on YouTube and Instagram. So I apologize for a slight delay at the beginning, but today I'm going to be talking about signs that a man just wants sex. This is something that I probably get asked about the most. People are wanting to know, how can I decide if a guy is just trying to hook up with me versus actually wanting a relationship? Just trying to make sure that this is up and going. I don't know why I can't see it on this end. StreamYard, you got to update your stuff so we could see. There we go. That way I could see your comments. They haven't integrated it yet into StreamYard, so I got to look at both devices. But let me know if you've ever had this question. Comment me if you had this question. Is he just trying to hook up? Does he actually want something? This is something that can be so discouraging for women because they're going into it thinking this could possibly go somewhere. And then the feeling afterwards is like, man, I just got used. I wish I could just have a guy tell me up front what it is. But the reality is, ladies, we know they're not going to do that. So the best thing that you can do is understand the signs to look for. So comment me if you've been in the situation where you thought it was going somewhere, that you thought the situation had potential to become a relationship, but in reality, it just ended up being physical and you really were bummed about it. Comment me if you've ever experienced that. If you've never experienced that, count your lucky stars. That is amazing to be able to go through your adult life and not experience that. All right. So as a dating coach, I give you 3 different things. I teach you how to become the best version of yourself so that you can attract the type of man that you want. I teach you how to inspire commitment from the type of man that you want. But most importantly, I teach you how to vet so you don't waste your precious time. Your time is one of your most valuable assets because you cannot get that back. All right, so let's get started. Let's get into the 10 signs that he just wants sex. All right, sign number 1, biggest thing, this should be the most giant red flag ever. He is inconsistent. Okay, you have no idea from one day to the next when you're going to be talking to him. There is no consistency. Shoot, he might be gone for days or weeks on end, right? And then have the nerve to pop up and talk about, hey, big head, or what's good, or this one, I missed you. Negro, you knew what my number was, all this time. We acting brand new. So basically, his communication will be very sporadic. And this is the key. He is mainly going to communicate with you at night. We're going to come back to that. But just remember, he will communicate with you mostly at night. Number 2, he's going to avoid emotional connection. The ultimate reason, he doesn't want to get to know you. So there's no reason to bond with you. It's kind of like you bumping into someone in the elevator. You're not going to try to establish emotional connection because you have no plans on developing anything with this person. So he's going to avoid any real conversations. He's not going to want to talk about your life, your future goals, your values. Okay. Anything deep is completely out of the question. So you're going to get pushed back if the conversation starts to go there, or he's going to try to change the topic. Now, what he will do is keep things on a surface level. He's not just going to be silent, right? He's going to talk to you, but he's going to be flirty. It's going to be fun stuff, sexual stuff, but nothing deep. Okay. This guy is not interested in getting to know you at all. Okay. She said experience is the best teller. Absolutely. Okay. So let's get into number 3. Number 3 signs. Y'all, when you know these signs, they become like a billboard. You're no longer Boo the Fool. You can see it a mile away. And I will say this, the biggest thing that we as women struggle with is controlling our emotions. So you might have watched this video. You might have taken notes. You might say, I see all the signs. But still, because his beard connects, he's got side teeth, he's got subject verb agreement, he's 6 foot whatever, muscular, you want to give him a pass. You are the only one you can blame at that point if you see all the signs and you proceed forward. Okay. So, number 3, he doesn't make an effort to take you on real dates. Now, what's important is that you don't just take this number, right? This number 3 tip and go, oh my God, this guy must be doing. You want to look for a multitude of these things. Okay. Because in and of itself, it might be innocent where a guy just wants to hang out casually or what have you. However, if this is the only thing that he does, this should definitely be a concern. Hey, sis, this should definitely be a concern. Okay. So he's going to want preferably your connections to happen at his place or yours. Why? Because that's a place where you guys can hook up. Okay. He's going to rather have Netflix and chill over an actual outing. If you suggest a date, maybe you're like, oh, there's this restaurant I want to check out, or hey, I got concert tickets for blah, 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 or my friend's having this event. I'd love for you to come. He's always going to have an excuse as to why he can't come. Or there's going to be last minute cancellations, or he's going to suddenly become sick. All right. It's always around the time where you're supposed to get together if he doesn't tell you no out the gate. Okay. He never wants to spend time in public. This is a huge red flag. Now, when he does get with you, right, and it's at his house or yours, he can't keep his hands off of you. Okay. We'll come back to that again. All right. So let's see here. Oops, got a little bit out of there we go. The fourth thing is he only texts you when he wants to meet up. Okay. So his texting is not in order to build something with you. It's very practical, kind of like somebody at a job setting up a meeting, right? There's nothing more to it. He needs to, because he can't telepathically communicate that he wants to have sex. So he has to communicate with you, but that's it. Don't read into it. Don't be like, oh my God, he reached out to me. His messages are going to be short, to the point. There's going to be no meaningful conversation. And he's not checking in on you, right? You could be kidnapped and halfway to Mexico and he wouldn't know it, because he's not checking in on you. He's not communicating unless he wants to see you. And when he does communicate with you, best believe it's going to be during booty call hours. So let me break down something. By the way, guys, this is something that I break down in my course, The Dating Manual. It's an 8-week coaching program. And I figured if you're anything like me, I want to know what kind of stuff I'm getting if I'm going to be investing into something. And so I want to give you a sneak peek on a fraction of one of the lessons that we go over when it comes to understanding men and learning how to vet. This is part of it. So if you're enjoying this, I have something for you at the end, a special offer for you. So make sure you stick around to the end. But let me break down the time blocks. Okay. You have business hours. So most people aren't going to be communicating with you during business hours unless it's just, hey, I'm checking on you and make sure you're good, whatever. Then you have after business call hours, or business hours, which is the time that most people are commuting home, cooking, getting their kids to bed, whatever. And then you get into booty call hours. So roughly after 10 would be a booty call hour. Between 5 o'clock and 10 o'clock, those would be this would be the ideal time for a guy to contact you. So towards the later end of that middle section. So those towards the end of that, anywhere between like 7 and 10, those are what I call cupcake hours. This is the time of day that most people who are getting to know each other know that this person has probably done all their adulting. They've got some downtime before they go to sleep, and they want to be in their ear and cupcake. They want to, chat and whatever. Okay. He's not going to call you during that time. He's not going to check on you while you're at work. He's going to hit you up during booty call hours, because that's the time he probably can get some booty. Sorry to be direct, but hey, got to do it, right? Just remember, again, just like the text, don't be flattered. He is not thinking about you. You're not on his mind. He's thinking about what you can do for him and how many different positions. Okay. All right. Tip number 5. Let me know if this is helpful. You guys are sticking around. So let me know if it's helpful. I'm assuming it is. He said, if we like you, we will contact you during business hours because we're thinking about you. That part. All right. Number 5, this is pretty self-explanatory. He avoids talking about the future. Again, he doesn't need to talk about the future because he doesn't see a future. Okay. So he's never going to include you in future plans. He is going to change the subject or brush off any questions that you have if you try to talk about commitment. So he might plan out his guy's trip 9 months in advance. He might be talking about his family reunion, but you will not even so much as talk about the next weekend. He will never commit ahead of time. He doesn't know what he's got going on. Might be somebody bigger and badder than you with a bigger booty. I don't know. He's going to keep his options open because you are not a priority for him. Okay. Number 6, he is not interested in your personal life. He doesn't remember important details about you, right? He's probably not going to remember your birthday unless you've been hinting for the last 3 weeks. He doesn't ask about your friends, your family, your work. He doesn't care. I feel like I'm trying to really stress this. He doesn't care. And if we actually stop and become observant during the dating phase, the discovery phase, and we focus on discovering as much as we discover, as opposed to trying to imagine what it could be, these things would be much more apparent. And I'm not fussing at you. I'm speaking from experience. So often we fixate on what we want it to be. So we're actually bringing up stuff. And because he's not going, shut up, I don't want to hear it. We're like, oh yeah, we talked to my family. But if you really look back, did you bring up your family or did he ask you? Did he follow up and see how your great Aunt Gertrude surgery went? No, because he doesn't care. Okay. Let's get into number 7. He keeps you a secret, right? When a man is really into you, he is going to want to profess, this is my lady. So one, it's like ego. This is my lady. She's mine. She's a representation of me. Look what I got. Look what I can pull. And it's a territorial thing. He gonna pee on all the fire hydrants and all the trees. Keep away, dudes. This one is spoken for. This is the ultimate back off. She's spoken for. She's mine. I put a ring on it. You don't got a chance. You shoulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda put a ring on it. Okay. It's the opposite when he just wants to hook up. He does not care if anyone knows. He actually would rather that nobody knows so he can kind of move in secret and do whatever he needs to do. All right. So don't think you're going to meet his friends and family, but huge asterisk. Also, don't put importance on meeting the family and meeting friends. Okay. So if you happen to, this might be something where the family's in on it. This has happened to me. Family could be in on it. And they know, well, they might not be in on it to the point where they're like scheming and trying to get this guy laid, but they don't take it seriously. They're like, yeah, he brings a bunch of chicken heads around. And mom knows her boy. He don't mean nothing. And she's going to be nice to you. She's going to be pleasant, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay. So it could go either way, but don't put value on that. But certainly know that if time goes on and he doesn't introduce you, that is something that you should be considering. Okay. It's been 6 months, 8 months, a year, and you have not so much as met a single friend in his circle. You haven't met any of his boys. You haven't met anyone in the group chat. You haven't met mom, auntie, nobody. Like you haven't FaceTime, nothing. Okay. There is a reason for that. What number are we on? We're on number 7. So he's going to keep you a secret, and he absolutely is not going to acknowledge you on social media. Okay. He's not going to post even about being in a relationship, because there are some guys who want to protect what's theirs, but they are going to at least allude to the fact, I'm in a relationship. But again, this is because he doesn't see a future with you. And he's going to avoid being in public with you where you could be seen together. Okay. All right. This one really stings. Number 8, he gets distant after sex. Why? Because he can. He doesn't need to do anything to get anything from you because he's gotten it from you. So if he's somebody who wants to come back to the ice cream shop for another scoop later, he might do the minimum. And, after he's gone for a couple of weeks, hey, big head, I thought about you. Oh my God, I lost my charger for 14 days. But now I got my phone recharged. He might do the minimum, but you're not going to fall for it, right? Or he might just go, okay, cool. Got that notch on my belt, and then ghost you altogether. Please don't be that person who says, Yancy, I want to set up a call. I don't understand why this. Who cares about why? We got to stop worrying about the why. Let go of the why. Worry about the what. Let go of the why. Worry about the what. Okay? The why doesn't matter because it's not going to make him suddenly want you. So if you are going to worry about the why, worry about this why right now. The why of why do men act like this? Because they just wanted sex. That's the only why that is beneficial to you. Save your brain cells. You're going to need them for other points in your life. You don't need them for this scenario. Okay. I'm doing all the heavy work for you. I'm doing all the heavy lifting. I'm doing all the brain, using all the brain cells to get this information. But with each individual guy, well, what he said, what, I don't know. We had such a good time. Stop. Don't do that. You're just hurting yourself. Okay. So he is going to get very distant. Before he's intimate with you, he's going to be very affectionate. He's going to be flattering you. He's going to be saying all of the things. He is going to really stroke your ego because your mind is going to say, oh my gosh, just because I'm so sexy. I have been doing my Pilates. I have been doing my squats. And I know it's just, he can't resist me. No, it's because he wants something. So you cannot be so flattered by a man being attracted to you sexually. I say this in my course, honey, he could be attracted to a mannequin, a lifeless mannequin at JCPenney's. So do not pop your collar because what he sees stimulates him. He could get stimulated by an animation, a cartoon, okay? Like I said, a mannequin in JCPenney's. So that should not be so flattering if that's all he sees in you is how sexy you are to him. All right, should we keep going? Number nine, he gets defensive when you bring up commitment. 10 signs he just wants sex. Okay. Oh, and let me say this. I meant to say this at the very beginning. All men want to have sex with you. Okay. Just like if they're attracted to you. If a man is attracted to you, then ultimately he wants sex. But if he is a gentleman and he is honorable, he will not just only have sex with you. He will do all of the things that you say you require before sex. Now that sounds so crass, I guess, like almost like a negotiation, but that's just reality. Every woman has a price. Your price might be a commitment. That's my man. I'm his girlfriend. Your price might be an engagement. I am not sleeping with you until I am engaged. I have a ring on my finger. Your price might be marriage. I don't believe that I should be having sex until I get married. Okay. So every woman has a price. And so you have to know what your price is, and men are willing to pay whatever that price is if they value you enough. If not, they will say sayonara. And you have to be okay with men saying sayonara because it means your vetting process is working. It could mean two things. He wasn't feeling you. You did something that he was like, we don't mesh. I'm not feeling it. Or you vetted him. And so, yes, you can work on being the best version of yourself, which is why I have my course and things like that. So hopefully that's not what's turning the guy away. But a lot of times, I would say 99.9% of the time, the guy is going to remove himself. It's because he doesn't see a good ROI, return on investment. There was a video I saw yesterday, and it literally was a guy breaking it down. Excuse me, this is graphic. Cost per nut. Literally, how much money and probably time and energy do I have to spend before I get to have sex? This lady, she just needs a chicken dinner and I get the cheeks. This one, she wants a whole commitment. This one, she wants married. Oh no. So if you have these standards for yourself that you're better than a chicken dinner, you're better than just 2 dates, you're better than a guy who every now and then texts you, you are no longer desirable for men who only want sex. But do you see how that's a good thing? You don't want to be desired by everybody. You want to hone in on the guy who adores you and cherishes you. Okay? And of course, he doesn't meet you day one and then it goes straight to adore and cherish, but he's going to start out with intentions. He's going to be intentional. He's going to be consistent. And then it's going to move to, I can tell he's committed and he loves me and he adores me. Okay. So getting out of our pick me era, we don't want to be picked, by a guy who only wants to bend us over. How does that help you? Okay, strokes your ego for 2 seconds, but the others, let me stop. Okay, all right. So let's get to number 9. He gets defensive when you bring up a commitment. He's going to make you seem like you are needy and clingy and something is wrong with you. He is not going to want to define the relationship. He's going to want to keep it vague. Okay. So drop some hearts if you've ever heard this one. I just don't like titles. Okay. Put a heart in the comment or tap the hearts. I don't like titles. How about this one? Let's just see where it goes. Let's just flow, right? Let's just flow with the wind and see where it goes. Where it's going, nobody knows. So we're just gonna go with the flow. Okay. What about I'm just not looking for anything serious. I just want to keep things light. I just got out of a relationship, whatever the reason is, but I don't want anything serious. Okay. So he's going to still want to keep seeing you though, just casually. So what is the translation here? I want the benefits of the relationship, but I don't want the commitment. Okay. So ladies in my tribe, we're smarter than that. The mask has been taken off our eyes. We could see clearly. We are not falling for that. Okay. All right. Let's go with number 10. Oh, you know what? And I didn't even add this one here. I added a bonus one. So let me do a bonus one. Drop in there bonus if you guys want to hear the bonus one. It's gonna add like 2 more minutes to this conversation. But drop in there. She said code for let me waste your time while I have fun. Facts. So I'm going to save the bonus one. The last one is that I put on the slides. Your gut tells you that something is off. Okay. You have intuition. You feel like you're putting more effort in than he's putting effort in. And you could kind of sense like that he's only investing in the physical, he's not fully invested. He just wants the physical aspect. Understand your intuition is very, very powerful. So if you feel like he's not serious, you are probably right. So don't dismiss that. If you're questioning, usually if you're questioning, that's a pretty good sign of like what you're supposed to feel to go, something's not right. So don't phone a friend. Don't, scroll on social media to try to find something that's going to affirm what you want to hear. Just go, this is what I needed to know to see that he's not interested. And here's a beautiful thing. If you back away and let's just say this guy really had good intentions, guess what? He's going to fight. He's going to say, hey, I haven't talked to you as much. What's going on? Da, 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 da. And you can let him show you that you were wrong. You don't have to say anything. Hey, I just thought you were using for sex. Da, da, da. You just say, I don't know if we're on the same page. Blah, 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 blah. He is going to want to show you that no, he doesn't want to let things go. Okay. All right. So the bonus that I meant to add on here that I forgot is he's going to be annoyed when you want to slow things down. And I hope I have some younger viewers here. But when you're younger, you don't realize that a man who truly cares about you will never rush the process. I did a poll on my men's page and it was like overwhelming majority agreed. They said, we don't even initiate or like bring up sex when we really like her. Why? Because they know it is a natural progression when two people like each other and they're feeling each other and there's chemistry. It will happen. Men who really have their stuff together know that the more they back away from sex, the more the woman will lean towards sex. It'll almost make her offended that he hasn't asked. So the guy said, when I actually like her, we want to just focus on establishing a connection, which is the way it should be. It's more organic, right? It's weird to just hook up with somebody you barely even know. So when you try to slow it down, this is a sign. So 11 signs. This is a guy who's going to say, oh my gosh, stop being a what? Prude. You might hear that. Stop being a prude, or you're so uptight, or Oh my God, I'm not pressed for sex. Like, I'm not just trying to be, they'll say anything they can say to try to shame you into giving into what they want. And for some men who are watching this, because I know I have guys who watch this, it's shocking to some guys who don't press women for sex to know that the overwhelming majority of men press like they are pressed for it. Okay. And what's interesting is a lot of guys will reject this and be like, oh my God, we're not that pressed for sex. But yet you see these angry little comments. Oh, yeah, I took her to dinner and I did this and this and this. Okay. You had a dinner date and now you're pressed for sex because you feel entitled to it. That's wild. Those two things can't exist. You either pressed or you're not. But these guys see it as an ROI. If I don't get sex, I wasted the money I took to get her ice cream. I wasted the money to get her nails. I wasted money because that is the end game. The end game is sex. So if they don't get sex and they've invested whatever, they feel like they've been robbed. Okay. He said, we're not getting to know the woman mentally makes the sex better. You can only speak for yourself. I'm talking about the guys who are pressed for sex. And there are many of them out there. The guys who are actually invested know what you said, that yes, when you are connected emotionally, sex is way better. Okay. So these are the 10, technically 11, as I threw in that bonus one, 11 signs that he just wants sex. Pay attention to these. Okay. Ultimately, a man who is there for the right reasons is going to be concerned about your needs just as much as his. And this should go on for the end of time if you guys are together forever, right? He should obviously have his wants and desires, but he would be very concerned with yours. Dead giveaway when a guy does not care at all. Okay? He does not care at all. I don't want you to settle for a guy who only wants the physical. And the more time you entertain these guys who only want the physical, it's the less time you're spending potentially meeting your husband. These men are causing you to delay meeting your husband. So stay strong out there, ladies. Like I said, once you see the signs, the red flags, you got to actually remove yourself. You cannot keep playing these games with yourself. Well, but he's really cute and and justifying and all this stuff. You have to walk away. All right. So there is a question on YouTube. I'm going to answer that. But before I do, I told you that if you stuck around to the end, I was going to give you a bonus. Now, here's the bonus. If you've been following me for a while, you know that every 2 or 3 months, every quarter approximately, I open up enrollment for my coaching program. It's 8 weeks long. I only take 10 women at a time because it's very intimate. And we go through and we talk about how to become the best version of yourself, right? Each person has their own level 10. Well, how do you get to your level 10? How to vet men, how to inspire commitment when you are with the man, okay? What pulls in his heartstrings, what makes him fall in love? What are things that overall men are universally looking for in a mate? And then I also give you relationship tips once you've snagged the guy, how to stay happy in that relationship and keep him from retreating emotionally. So we get into a lot of stuff in my coaching program. But for today, if you reach out to me today and you set up what I call a discovery call, which is just a conversation, just the two of us over the phone, we go over the program in detail, the investment, what it includes, see if it's a good fit for you. If you sign up today or tomorrow, Saturday, February 1st, I will throw in a free coaching session. And you don't even have to wait until the program starts. So you have the choice of cashing in on the session after the course starts, which is the end of February, or you could sign up for it and book it today. But I really, 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 really want to help as many women as possible understand what men are looking for in a partner. Because if you only are good at vetting and you know what you don't want and you know what you do want, but then once you meet the guy of your dreams, you have no clue what is a turn on to him, you're potentially going to sabotage the situation. And let me give you one example. So many women I work with a lot of women who are financially successful. Their careers have just taken off. They have done the work and it's paying off. And in their mind, they go, I don't want a guy to see me as a liability because I know, we can cost a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. So you know what? When I come in, I'm going to let him know I'm good. Don't worry. I'm good. I got my stuff together. My car is paid for. I already bought my house and I have another rental property and I have good income and I've got it. I don't need your money. Don't worry. And you are coming in innocently thinking, hey, I'm going to say something and let him know this is a benefit. I'm not going to be draining your resources. I got it. But if you don't understand the mind of a man, he is wired to take pride in being the provider. So something that you're coming in and saying is this benefit, he hears, I don't need you. I'm going to entertain you because I want to, but I don't need you. And in the same way, it brings a mother's satisfaction to take care of her child. And that first time the kid is like, Mom, don't drop me off in front. Like, can you just drop me off in the corner and please don't kiss me? I don't need that. I don't need you to pack my bags. And you loved packing the bags and putting a little note in the lunch and walking them to the door and making sure. And they're like, I don't need you. It's not a plus. It's not like, yes, they're finally independent. You're like, oh, that was my job. I liked that. So I go through and I teach you everything that the guys have expressed to me. I let them tell me everything just raw, unfiltered in the men's group because I don't care. It doesn't offend me. And then I come through and I express it to the women in my course in a much more palatable way and try to explain it so that it makes sense. I'm telling you, I have been married before. I was in a relationship and I understood sexiness and flirtation. I did not understand the deeper nuances that a man needed. And as a result, I had somebody who shut down emotionally. That is a pain almost worse than death for a woman who's a lover girl and just wants love for the rest of her life. I want to teach women to not only be able to inspire commitment, because the girls who come to me, they know how to attract a man, right? I'm like, you just get in shape and, if you dress cute, you can attract, right? It's not hard to attract a man, but can you inspire him to commit? And that's where most women come in. They say, I either don't meet the type of guys that I want, or if I do meet the type of guys that I want, they don't commit to me. Why? And I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I was my own guinea pig for this program. And I literally met my guy, and the next day he wanted a commitment. I had to slow him down. Okay. He obviously proposed. We were in the process of planning a wedding. And in my 20s, I was able to get someone to commit. Within 3 months, I had a ring on my finger. Okay. So I say that to say, not to brag, but that I understand. I was raised by a father who was very active and he taught me a lot about men and what they want and all that stuff, but there were levels to it. I spent the last 10 years of my life dedicated to trying to understand men and their needs. And trust me, I use it in my relationship. It has helped me a ton. Okay. So if you want to learn about this program, you can DM me or you can go on my Instagram page and click the link. I'll put the link also on YouTube in the description because I forgot to do it ahead of time, but I'll put it in there. But set up a discovery call. And if you set up the call for today or tomorrow, if it's blocked off for today and you want to talk to me today, DM me and say, hey, your calendar was booked for today. But if you sign up today or tomorrow for the program, you will get a bonus session. And those are $250. So you're going to get a bonus of $250 value. Okay. But that's the dating manual. It's an 8-week coaching program. I hope that everybody who's interested at least makes the call. There's no obligation. Just see if it's a good fit for you. And maybe it's not a good fit for now, but you say, hey, I want to sign up in the summer, whatever. But find out. Do yourself that favor. I have had a couple of women who have gotten into relationships since being in the program and one who is already engaged. So, and I've only been doing this program for a year. So we have had some great successes and I'm excited about that. All right, let me get to these 2 questions and then I am signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that heart on YouTube, on Instagram. You can put a heart in the comments if you enjoyed it. Okay, here's the question. How do you know if something is off or if it's self-sabotage, especially if you struggle with abandonment wounds and come out of more toxic situations? That is a great, great question. This is why you have to go through, and if you literally have to take a screenshot of this, write it down somewhere, you go through. So you can say, is he consistent? I mean, is he consistent or is he inconsistent? Do we not go deep? You know, and this is over a couple of weeks, right? Uh, are we not talking about anything serious? Is he trying to go out on real dates? Does he only text me when he wants to get together and it's usually late at night? Does he avoid talking about the future? So these specifically will help you to determine if he's not serious or not. If you have like 4 of these, I mean, forget the 11. If you got 4 of these, that's a problem. Okay. He's keeping you a secret. He gets distant after sex. If you have such, which I tell my girls, I do not recommend having sex, especially early on. Okay. Does he get defensive when he wants to when you bring up commitment? So don't just do your gut. Like the gut piece is one piece, but it should be all encompassing or a good majority of them. Like I said, even if you have 4, that's a good way to tell. Okay. Next question. Do you think a lack of assertiveness in a man is something that can be improved upon? And how would you communicate that? At the very beginning, I don't recommend that a woman does hardly anything when it comes to trying to teach a man. Okay. And I'm not saying you're saying to teach a man. What I'm saying is the posture that is beneficial to you is to observe. Observe him in his natural habitat. Imagine, a guy like as an animal in a zoo. Like, does this animal swing from the trees? Does this animal prefer to swim in the water? Does this animal prefer to climb the rocks? Does this animal prefer to sit in the sun and sunbathe? And you're just observing. What does he do in his natural habitat, undisturbed? And then you say, does this work for me? Something as simple as assertiveness, that right there would be a turnoff at the beginning. So if you're still watching, give me an example of what a lack of assertiveness would look like in the beginning stages of dating. But I would imagine a lack of assertiveness would be not taking charge, not taking the lead, not being proactive and saying, let's get together, or when are you going to be free so I can call you? Not going, being the first to initiate certain types of topics. So I think that a lot of times, excuse me, if the guys you are getting with are few and far between, you're not getting a ton of guys that fit what you want, at least on the outside, and then you start to talk to them, you might feel this desire to try to make it work. Well, we've got this, I can work with that. And I'm telling you, as somebody who's turning 45 in April, you do not want to do any type of finessing, like manipulating. And again, these words might sound like a negative connotation. I don't mean like you're doing it in a negative way. You don't want to put your hand in the pot. You don't want to put your fingerprints on it too much, because I'm telling you, a man who is interested in a woman will have to actually restrain himself from doing too much. Men are so precious when they like a woman. But if you remember, if you're watching my content, the number of women that a man actually wants to be with is so small. When I took a survey, it was like less than you could use one hand to count how many women in his lifetime the dude wanted to be with, right? So think about a dude who goes out with 4 different women, one each weekend. That's four different women in a month. 12 months. Let me not get myself in trouble. That's 48 women. That's 48 women in 1 year. So in a lifetime, if he only liked 2, 3, or 4 women in a lifetime, like he liked her to the point where he wants her to be his girlfriend at least, right? Then all 48 could be not considered. That's just 1 year. So when you look at the numbers, you understand how rare it is for a man to actually like a woman. So the majority of your work as a datee is going to be eliminating. That's the majority of what you're going to be doing, is eliminating. And when you come across this guy, it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be like minimal effort, spike. You can't miss it. That's why I was like, God, if there was a way that every woman could experience an amazing relationship first, amazing dating process first, even if it didn't work out, it would set that tone. She would know, oh, that's the standard. I don't ever have to beg him to call. I don't ever have to beg him to text. If anything, I have to tell him, bro, like my friends are going to put on an APB because they haven't seen me. Let me take a weekend off from seeing you. I got to spend some time with my girls, or, let me not neglect these kids. He's cheering. Let me, I'm in your face too much. You have to slow him down. So the problem is that most women have never experienced a man who's truly pursuing her, not talking to her, but pursuing her. Okay. Nathan, unfortunately, that is a very toxic mindset. Male commitment crushes women's desire. Women who don't like you. And I tell my girl clients this when they say, oh, he wants to commit, and I'm like, and, I'm trying to narrow it down between these guys. And I said, you don't like him. You don't like him. You like the attention he's giving you. You like how he makes you feel. You don't like him. So I would not make a universal statement and say, oh, if a man commits, it crushes a woman's desire. No, baby. A woman who doesn't like him. Nobody wants to be locked down with someone they don't like. Okay. So respectfully, I could not disagree more. Let's see. So she said, assertiveness as in making the relationship work. Yeah, he should be motivated on his own. But I don't want to leave the relationship. Absolutely. You should not want to. And here's the thing. If you have to make it work, because, oh my God, this is terrible. Men have admitted to being in relationships just to shut up the woman. They have admitted to marrying someone just to shut her up. But had she not pressed the issue, they'd have just been either shacking up or seeing each other casually or whatever. You don't want to be in a situation like that. That is the difference between a woman who feels cherished and a woman who feels that she's being tolerated. Can I say that again? That is the difference between a woman who is cherished and a woman who is tolerated. Having been in a situation where, well, we're married on paper, but we're going to be roommates and we don't even talk, that is torture because you're essentially single from an emotional standpoint. You don't get any of the benefits emotionally of being in a relationship. It is emotional purgatory. So you don't want to have to, at the beginning when he should have the most motivation and the most excitement and the most ambition, you don't want to be stepping in at that point. You want to have to be slowing it down. Bruh, I just met you. Like, you tripping. You don't know you want to be with me yet. It's only been 2 hours. Come on. All right, y'all. I have been on here long enough. 43 minutes. Hope you enjoy this. Like I said, I'm going to drop the link to set up a discovery call in the YouTube description. Instagram, you could just go to my bio and click on this dating manual. You'll see it. If all else fails and you just don't know where to go, just DM me on Instagram on Chasing Yancy. And until next time, I will see you guys later.